When a man hurts you, don't chase him, don't cry, don't beg. Not with silence, but with power, with the kind of energy that makes him question how he ever thought he could break you. Cause when a man tries to hurt a woman who knows who she is, he doesn't destroy her. He awakens something he was never ready for. Pain is a reality. It's sharp, it's raw, and it hits in ways you never expect. It can feel like it's crashing down on you, taking every ounce of confidence and leaving you in a vulnerable place. But here's the thing, you're not defined by the pain you feel in the moment. You're defined by how you respond to it and your reaction. That is where your true power lies. When someone tries to hurt you, whether it's a man or anyone who feels they can walk over you, the first instinct is to react, to fire back with anger, with hurt, with words that are meant to make them feel the pain they've caused. But here's the secret that no one talks about. When you react, you are giving away your power. Every word you speak out of hurt, every emotional outburst you have is a gift to the person who has hurt you. You're letting them see your vulnerability, and you're allowing them to control the narrative. That's not strength, that's submission. The true power comes when you stop reacting. The moment you decide not to give in to the need to respond, you break free from their grasp. Scream. You don't have to fight. You don't have to explain, apologize, or justify your worth. In that space of silence, in that space of refusal to react, you become untouchable. It's not about playing games or pretending not to care. It's about showing the world that you've already moved past their attempts to break you. You are no longer invested in their chaos, and you are not a pawn in their manipulative games. A man who tries to hurt you might expect you to crumble. He might expect you to beg for his attention, for his approval, for his affection. He might even wait for you to come crawling back. And that's when your power becomes the most visible. When you refuse to respond, when you take a step back and look at the situation with clarity, you show him and everyone else that you are not some fragile, easily broken woman. You are a force. And that silence, that lack of reaction, becomes a statement stronger than any words could ever be. In those moments, you have the opportunity to show him that you are not defined by his actions. You don't need him to validate your worth, to prove that you are worthy of love, respect, or anything else. Your worth is inherent in who you are. And when you stop giving him the emotional fuel to keep playing the game, when you stop reacting to his attempts to control you, you flip the narrative. The person who was trying to break you, they end up questioning themselves. They wonder where the woman and they start to realize, maybe for the first time, that you are something they can't touch. You are something they will never fully understand. This kind of power isn't about manipulation or revenge. It's about peace. It's about regaining control over your own emotions and your responses. When you don't give in to the emotional chaos that someone tries to stir in you, you rise above it. You become a woman who is unshaken, unbothered by the petty games others try to play. That power, that inner peace, is something no one can take from you. And in that silence, In that refusal to react, you show the world your strength. This is the ultimate form of emotional intelligence, not to let others see you sweat, not to let them see you fight, but to let them see your grace. Your ability to withstand their attempts to hurt you without losing your own integrity. When you master your energy like this, when you stop reacting, stop engaging in their negativity, you win. Not because they've lost, but because you've chosen to rise. And when you rise in silence, you make the loudest statement of all. You're in control. You're not just surviving, you're thriving. And nothing they do can ever change that. When you experience pain, it can feel like the world is crumbling around. The emotional weight can be suffocating, and the desire to make others understand your hurt becomes overwhelming. You want them to know exactly how much they've affected you, and sometimes that leads you to act out in ways that you later regret. You might post passive-aggressive quotes or try to reach them through social media, hoping that your words will resonate with them and make them feel the gravity of what they've done. But here's the truth that most people don't realize is healing doesn't require an audience. The moment you start to seek validation from others, you're weakening your own process of healing. Real healing happens in the quiet moments, behind closed doors, away from the prying eyes of social media. It happens when you choose to rebuild yourself in peace without making it a public spectacle. When you're going through a period of emotional recovery, it's crucial to give yourself the space and time to reflect, to understand the pain, and to process it. You don't owe anyone an explanation about what you're going through. The world doesn't need to see your journey. What matters is that you take control of it. You don't need to wear your wounds like badges of honor for others to admire. Instead, you wear your strength in silence. The less you seek validation, the more powerful you become. In this period of rebuilding, the best thing you can do is to protect your energy. This is not the time to entertain the same people who have hurt you, or to waste energy on those who failed to see your worth in the first place. Instead, turn inward. Focus on activities that heal your soul, nurture your spirit, and reclaim your power. Engage in self-care practices that feed your body and mind. Whether it's meditating, exercising, journaling, or simply taking a walk in nature, the focus should be on you. Rebuilding doesn't mean chasing anyone or anything. It means finding peace within yourself again. And when you come back stronger, more centered, and more whole, that is the real victory. The most powerful transformation happens when no one is watching. In the quiet, away from the opinions of others, you rebuild yourself brick by brick. You regain the parts of yourself that you lost during the pain. You grow stronger, more focused, and more in tune with who you are. This isn't just about physical recovery. It's emotional, mental, and spiritual. You become the version of yourself that you were always meant to be. The one who doesn't need approval, the one who knows her worth, regardless of anyone else's recognition. And when you do reemerge, you don't need to announce it to the world. People will notice your growth without you saying a word. You don't have to explain or prove anything. Your strength will speak for itself. When you choose to rebuild in private, you create a power that is all your own. You don't depend on external factors for validation. You don't need anyone to see your healing process. This is the power of internal validation. It doesn't matter who sees or who doesn't. You have already become the best version of yourself. When you let go of the need to be understood, to be seen, or to be validated by anyone other than yourself, you free yourself from the chains that hold you down. You reclaim your narrative. You decide how you want to show up in the world, not as someone who was broken, but as someone who took the broken pieces and crafted something even more beautiful. In the absence of external validation, you become a force to be reckoned with. People who once took you for granted, who thought they could walk over you, will see a woman who has risen above their attempts to hurt her. They will see someone who no longer needs their approval, no longer needs their acknowledgement, because you've already given it to yourself. This is the ultimate form of strength, to rise without any fanfare, without needing applause. Your transformation is complete when you realize that you don't have to announce it to the world. The world will simply see it in the way you walk, the way you carry yourself, and the energy you exude. You've healed in private, and now you're ready to show up stronger than ever before, without needing anyone's permission. When someone tries to hurt you, it's natural to feel like you need closure, or that you need to somehow make sense of the chaos they've thrown into your life. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that their actions are about you, your worth, your value, your ability to be loved. But here's the truth. They were never the lesson. You were. Sometimes the most painful experiences aren't there to teach us something about others. They're there to teach us something about ourselves. And the sooner you realize that, the sooner you can reclaim your power. When a man tries to hurt you, it's a reflection of his inability to value you, not a reflection of your worth. Often we find ourselves asking, why did he do this to me? Or what did I do wrong? These questions only trap you in a cycle of self-doubt and insecurity. But the moment you shift your focus away from him and on to yourself, you start to understand something profoundly important. This wasn't about you at all. It was about his own limitations, his own lack of maturity to appreciate what he had. He wasn't you, you were his. In every relationship, you have the opportunity to learn something about yourself, your boundaries, your desires, your strength. It's not about fixing him or understanding his actions. It's about understanding yourself better and recognizing your worth without needing anyone else to validate it. The pain he caused you, the confusion, the heartbreak, none of it was about your inadequacy. It was about his inability to value what he had or to recognize the treasure in front of him. And the sooner you stop blaming yourself, the sooner you can see that you were never the problem. He failed to see your brilliance, and that's on him, not you. When you internalize this truth, you stop looking for validation outside of yourself. You stop questioning if you are enough. You stop doubting your ability to love and be loved. You were never the issue, you were the lesson. And that's a power that he'll never have because he missed it while you were right in front of him. This shift in perspective allows you to move from victim to victor. You are not the one who lost in the scenario. He was. He lost the opportunity to experience a love that was genuine, powerful, and unwavering. He lost the chance to truly know what it meant to be loved by someone who saw the beauty in every you. You get the lesson. You get to walk away from this experience not with the scars of rejection or hurt, but with the wisdom that you now know your value, no matter what anyone else thinks. You've learned what you will tolerate and what you won't. You've learned what true love is and what it isn't. That knowledge is yours to keep, and it's more valuable than anything he could have ever offered. And realizing that you were the lesson, you also begin to let go of the need for revenge. When we feel wronged, there's a part of us that wants to make the other person feel the pain they've caused. But revenge is a hollow victory because it doesn't heal you. It only keeps you trapped in the past. Instead of wasting energy, use that energy to heal and evolve. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself, the woman who knows her worth and who demands to be treated with respect. Don't let his actions define who you are. Let your response to the situation define who you become. Choose to rise above it, to learn from it, and to use it as fuel for your transformation. As you move forward, the most powerful thing you can do is stop asking the question, why did he do this to me? Instead, start asking yourself, what did I learn myself through this experience? The moment you shift your focus away from the man who hurt you and onto your own growth, you release his hold over you. His actions no longer have the power to define your worth, your happiness, or your future. You are in control of your own story now. And the story you choose to tell is one of strength, resilience, and transformation. You will no longer allow the actions of others to dictate your emotional well-being. Instead, you will decide who you are, what you deserve, and how you will rise. When someone tries to hurt you, they often expect a reaction. They want you to break, to be shattered by their actions, to show them that their words or behaviors have an effect. But what if, instead of reacting, you simply let your silence speak for you? In a world that thrives on drama, on constant noise and emotional outbursts, crumble to prove that he has control over. When a man tries to hurt you, he's often seeking validation. He might want to see you crumble to prove that he has control over you, But when you refuse to give him that satisfaction, you create confusion in his mind. His expectations of you are turned upside down. He doesn't know how to handle a woman who doesn't feed into his drama. And that confusion is exactly what you need. Instead of letting his actions break you down, you use his uncertainty to your advantage. You become a mystery, a force he cannot easily understand or predict. And in that space of mystery, you reclaim your power. This type of emotional control requires a level of self awareness and emotional intelligence that most people don't possess. It's not about being cold or distant, it's about being so centered in your own peace that you no longer let the chaos of others disrupt your inner world. You've worked too hard on yourself to let someone's negative energy destroy the progress you've made. Your strength comes from your ability to stay calm, to let the storm rage around you while you remain rooted in the ground. You don't need to prove anything to him or anyone else because your actions, your lack of reaction, speak volumes. When you don't react, it doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care enough to protect your peace. Too often, we fall into the trap of thinking that if we don't show how hurt we are, we're somehow weak. But real strength isn't about showing your vulnerability at every turn. Real strength is in the moments when you choose to keep your emotions in check, to protect your energy, and to rise above the petty dramas that others try to drag you into. You understand that your worth isn't measured by how much you react, by how loudly you express your pain. Your worth is in the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you don't need to react to be strong. One of the most confusing things you can do to someone who has hurt you is to show them that their actions have no power over you. When you refuse to engage in their emotional games, you turn the tables. They might expect you to beg for an explanation, to demand an apology, or to lash out in frustration. But when you do none of these things, you leave them wondering what happened. You don't need their validation to feel good about yourself because your peace is not for sale. Your silence becomes a declaration of your strength and your self-worth. And this is where the true power lies. When you realize that your peace is your responsibility and you refuse to let anyone take that away from you, you don't need to show them how much they've hurt you. Instead, you show them how strong you are by remaining calm, collected, and unwavering. You've learned that the real power is in your response or lack of response. You no longer seek revenge or validation from others because you understand that your worth is already inherent. The moment you stop reacting to someone else's drama is the moment you take back control. You stop being a pawn in their game and you start playing your own game. One where your peace is the ultimate prize. When a man hurts you, it's easy to feel like you've lost something important. It's natural to want to seek answers, to search for meaning in the pain. But here's a hard truth that many women never fully embrace. You didn't lose anything of real value. The reality is, if someone can walk away from you, they weren't meant to stay. Their departure doesn't diminish you. It simply clears the space for something better, something more aligned with who you are and what you deserve. Often, we cling to relationships because we fear the emptiness that comes when they end. But the truth is that when something leaves, it's making room for what's truly meant to be in your life. It's essential to stop looking at heartbreak as a reflection of your worth. When someone chooses to walk away, It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you weren't enough. But the real problem lies with them, not you. If someone walks away from a love they had in front of them, they've made the mistake, not you. You. It's difficult to see this in the midst of emotional turmoil, but this shift in perspective, the pain you feel is not an indicator of failure on your part. It's a sign that you've been tested and you're learning to strengthen your boundaries, your self love, and your understanding of what you truly deserve. The pain you're experiencing right now is not permanent. It is a phase, a chapter in the larger story of your life. But this chapter does not define you. It forces you to reflect on the things you've tolerated, the things you've accepted, and it pushes you to rewrite the narrative you've been living. When you come out on the other side of this pain, you won't just be healed, you will be transformed. You'll have learned to love yourself better, to set clearer boundaries, and to recognize the value you bring to the table. And when you start to see it that way, you gain control over your own healing. People often mistake healing for something that happens in an instant, or something that can only happen when someone else apologizes. But true healing happens from within. It's not about waiting for an apology. It's about forgiving yourself for having allowed the situation to hurt you. It's about giving yourself permission to move on, to stop holding on to something. When you hold on to the hurt, when you wait for someone to recognize your worth or to apologize for their mistakes, you stay trapped in their narrative. When you decide that your story is bigger than their actions, you take the first step toward real healing. You become your own healer, your own source of peace, and no one else can disrupt that. Sometimes we get so focused on what we've lost that we forget to acknowledge what we've gained. Every experience, no matter how painful, adds something valuable to your life. In the aftermath of being hurt, you'll find clarity. You'll gain a deeper understanding of what you need, what you'll tolerate, and what you won't. You'll begin to recognize patterns in your own behavior, things that perhaps you missed before. Maybe you learn to be more patient with yourself. Maybe you learn to speak up when something doesn't feel right. Maybe you learn that you don't need anyone's approval to feel whole. Every lesson, every pain has a purpose. And it's only by embracing that purpose that you'll truly grow. At the end of the day, it's important to understand that you were never the problem in this equation. Your ability to love, to be vulnerable, and when you stop internalizing their mistakes and start seeing them as part of their own journey, you free yourself from the shackles of resentment and anger. You take your power back by recognizing that you were the teacher, not the learner in the situation. You were the one who showed up with love and honesty. What you gain from this experience is the realization that you deserve someone who recognizes the value you bring, someone who sees you for who you do, and is what makes you stronger. When someone tries to hurt you, it's easy to get caught in the cycle of trying to understand their actions. You'll wonder, what did I do wrong? Or why is this happening to me? But here's the truth. You're not meant to understand everything. Sometimes people act out of their own pain, insecurities, and unresolved issues. When someone attempts to hurt you, it often has more to do with them than with you. Their actions are a reflection of their own inability to handle emotions, their immaturity, or their lack of understanding about what real love and respect look like. It's important to separate yourself from their chaos and realize that their behavior isn't a reflection of your worth. You are not the problem. They are simply projecting their own issues onto you. One of the most powerful things you can do when faced with hurt is to stop seeking validation from others. It's natural to want the person who hurt you to apologize or explain themselves. But seeking that external validation only keeps you tied to the past. It keeps you looking back at someone who didn't treat you with respect, and it prevents you from moving forward. True power comes when you stop needing that apology. You don't need anyone to validate your feelings, your experiences, or your worth. The moment you stop seeking external approval, you become free. You release the chains that bind you to the hurt and take back control over your emotional state. You realize that your happiness and peace are not reliant on others, especially not on those who failed to see your value. As you begin to heal from the hurt, you'll find that the real power lies in your ability to move forward, to grow, and to evolve from the pain. It's easy to stay stuck in the cycle of sadness, bitterness, and anger, but the true mark of strength is in your ability to rise above it. Healing doesn't happen overnight, and it doesn't happen because someone else apologizes. Healing happens because you choose to take control of your narrative. You choose to stop living in the past and to embrace the future with hope and resilience. This growth isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about using it as a stepping stone to become stronger, more empowered version of yourself. You are not defined by the pain. You are defined by how you rise from it. When you stop reacting to the hurt and start focusing on your personal growth, you become untouchable. The person who tried to hurt you may expect you to stay broken, to remain in the shadow of their actions. But when you choose to heal, when you choose to rise, you become someone they can no longer control. They may try to pull you back into their drama, but you are no longer invested in their narrative. You have stepped out of their chaos and into your own power. Your silence, your growth, your strength become the loudest statement you can make. You are no longer defined by their actions, and that is something they will never be able to take away from you. It's crucial to remember that your strength doesn't come from how much you endure, how much you can handle, or how many times you allow yourself to be hurt. Your strength comes from knowing your worth, knowing that you don't need to accept behavior that doesn't align with who you are. True strength is not about taking everything that comes your way. It's about choosing not to tolerate what doesn't serve you. It's about setting boundaries, protecting your peace, and walking away from situations and people that try to drain your energy. Strength is in recognizing that your worth is not determined by the love or approval of others. It's in knowing that you are whole, complete, and deserving of respect just as you are. In the end, your response to the hurt is what shapes your future. You have the power to decide how this experience will define you. Will it be the thing that breaks you or the thing that builds you? The choice is yours. When you stop allowing someone else's actions to determine your emotional state, when you stop letting their hurtful behavior dictate how you feel about yourself, you take control of your life. You are no longer a victim of their actions. You become the creator of your own story. And when you embrace that power, nothing, no matter how painful, can ever truly break you. And so, when a man tries to hurt you, remember this. His actions are a reflection of his own limitations, not your worth. You don't need his validation, his apology, or his approval to move forward. You are whole, powerful, and deserving of love and respect. The pain you feel today is not your forever. It is a stepping stone on the path to a stronger, wiser, and more confident version of yourself. Keep walking, keep growing, and remember that your peace, your power, and your future are yours to define. The greatest revenge is not in seeking retribution,